Krampus Unleashed was directed by Robert Conway. This is the same director who directed Krampus the Reckoning, and it's not a sequel, it's its own thing. And if it wasn't said that this film and The Reckoning was directed by the same guy, I would have absolutely no idea. First of all, Krampus Unleashed is a step up from Krampus the Reckoning, I will say. Even though I enjoyed The Reckoning, I enjoyed this one step better. The Krampus in this film is fully practical, so it's a guy in a costume, whereas in The Reckoning it was full CGI. And as I mentioned in that review, the CGI does not look amazing. So that one of the big reasons this film is a step up is because they made Krampus practical. Now he doesn't look perfect, but practical is always going to win for me over CGI any day. So I do like that, and just the production value all around was better in my opinion. So and it came out a year later, so you can tell that there was probably a lot like not a higher budget, but a lot more effort, maybe experience put in. I don't know, but or maybe they were made at the same time. Who knows? Um, but yeah. So what happens here is we start off the film with these guys looking for this loot of money that this guy left. This German, I don't know if it was immigrant, but this guy with German background was a criminal, and he stole a bunch of money and he buried it somewhere. And these guys are looking for it, and when they dig it up, they don't find any money, but they find this rock, and this rock has the capability of summoning Krampus. So there's this curse on this rock, yada yada, and they summon Krampus, of course. Krampus messes them up, of course. And another big thing I like in this one is they used a lot of practical effects with gore. So there's a lot of gut spillage, there's a lot of like gory, ripping people apart kind of thing. And there was in The Reckoning, but there's more in this one. So that gets a thumbs up from me because they utilize that a lot more. And I like when, again, they use practical effects, especially on gory, gross out scenes like that. They did that well. Anyways, we flash forward to a few years later, or I don't know exactly how long later, but definitely a while. We're talking some decades later, and you have this family, and there's a lot of characters in this film, so bear with me. We got Fiona and Tommy, which is a son and daughter of Will and Amber. So Will and Amber, Fiona and Tommy, they're going to their grandparents, Dale and I forget the grandmother's name, but they're going for Christmas dinner, stay for a couple days kind of thing. The aunt and uncle are coming as well, and the aunt and uncle are David and Biv, and they have a son named Troy. Now let me talk a bit about Troy. Troy is the most absolute hated and despised character I've seen in a long time. I was praying, hoping that this kid would be the first to go violently and viciously. I won't spoil what happens to him or what doesn't happen to him, but all I'm saying is that right from the get-go, this kid's a piece of shit. Ironically, he has a shirt that says "Stay back, I'm allergic to stupid," which is ironic because he's wearing it. And everything he says, he's not the greatest actor in the world either. But Jesus, does he sell you on not liking a character in a horror film like crazy. And then you also got you have a few plots going on in this one. There's the two families kind of clashing and colliding. Also, Troy hits on Fiona all the time, even though they're related. Really weird. He's always picking on Tommy. He's just doing everything. He doesn't give a shit about anything, no matter what goes on. Even when like the evil starts to come and shit starts to happen, and there's an actual sense of danger present. He's just too busy listening to his headphones and being on his friggin' iPhone or whatnot. I could go on this kid forever. I could make a review straight on him, but with Krampus Unleashed. Outside of that, you also got this story with this girl named Bonnie, and Bonnie was dating one of the police officers, which comes into the story. His name was Dan. And Dan still has feelings for Bonnie, obviously. He even does background checks on her current boyfriend named James, who has a pretty good death, by the way. And he does background checks because he knows this guy's a criminal and he just keeps fishing for evidence on them. And then there's a whole scene that plays out with that. Like, she calls him a creep, and it's totally weird that he's checking up on him, even though he has a power to because he's a cop and whatnot. And then you also got the side plot too, with which they don't focus on too much, but I really liked the aspect of it. You get these two guys named Terry and Roger, and Terry and Roger are these basically goofs. They're like the not the comedic roles, I guess, even though they are kind of stupid, funny. But like I said, they don't focus on them too much. But basically, these guys are hunting Bigfoot, and they see these signs like footprints on the ground and stuff like that, and think it's Bigfoot, even though it's Krampus. And just the fact that they have the whole Bigfoot Krampus comparison, I found funny. I found that ironic, kind of, you could say. But regardless, the film itself is not the greatest acted. You can see its budget for sure, but the budget's utilized enough. The gore is the best part about it, and for a Krampus film, it does a good job being a grade B Krampus film. Compared to The Reckoning, the only thing with The Reckoning I'd say is it's like the CGI Krampus kind of weakened it a little bit. But if you've watched both films, if you watched The Reckoning, this one is like it's pretty equal when it comes to the quality of acting, the quality of cinematography, and stuff like that. The ending, there's this whole situation where they go into the mines to, like, this mine that's in the town to blow up Krampus, and you can tell the budget was really lacking there, just with effects and the bomb situation and stuff like that. It's also really rushed. I found this ending kind of, or the third act of the film really put its pedal to the metal and kind of like wrapping up the film. And if they gave it like another 3 to 5 minutes, I think it might have been just a little bit more rewarding, you could say. But other than that, this is another Krampus film that I would give a thumbs up to for what it is, for you know, for what it's giving you, for what it's delivering, and for what it's supposed to be, a B movie. It does its job well. I would buy this one on DVD if I found it for a decent price. And it's a good little Christmas horror flick. You know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's got its laughs. You know, there's actually a scene where I really like this one. They're watching the family's watching TV, and they're watching Krampus the Reckoning on TV. The opening scene of Christmas the Reckoning. I'm like, wow, I like that meta-ness, that meta-ness that is thrown in there. And that's actually one of the biggest hints that gave me the idea that this was directed by Robert Conway, the director of The Reckoning. And then I looked it up, and it ended up being so. For two of his films, like I said, they're very similar shot, but the way they're directed and the plot and the way they're written, as well as the monster itself, totally, totally different. Which is why I mentioned that, you know, if you weren't told that it's the same director, you could be fooled and thinking it's two completely different ones. But this one would take my step up than The Reckoning, although I say watch both for sure. So that's what I got on Unleashed. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more. Check out the ones already on the channel. And until next review, have a good one and cheers.